Hey everyone, it's Tori and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, we are going to be setting up my bullet journal for December 2025. I'm flipping to my planning page first, which is where I plan out my color palette and elements of my theme for the month. But before we get into the setup, let's take a look to see how last month is going so far. For November, I did a pumpkin pie theme, and I don't know if you can tell by my spreads, but I barely filled anything out this month. I maybe opened up my journal like 3 times this month, and I just backlogged all of my trackers, which is really unfortunate because I loved this theme. If you want to watch this setup, I will have it linked in the cards for you to check out. And now it's time to look at the supplies I'll be using throughout this video. I'll be using a variety of Tombow dual brush pens that I picked out that match my stickers really well. I will also be outlining and numbering with my Tombow mono drawing pens, which are new to my stationery collection. I have a couple different sticky notes that I used for some layering, and then the stars of the show are my washi tape and my stickers from Haugen and Chub Girl. These are from their holiday mail advent calendar. I actually did a full unboxing of this in a recent haul video, which I will have linked in the cards if you want to check it out. And I also ended up getting a separate add-on sticker pack for the advent calendar, which I'll be utilizing a lot in this video as well. It came with a few sheets of some decorative journaling stickers, some Hobonichi intended sticker sheets, and also just some general planner stickers that I was excited to use for this setup, but also in my weekly spreads that I'll hopefully be making on camera with you next week, so keep an eye out for that video. Everything will be linked down below if I can find it as usual, and without further ado, let's get into my cover page for December. I've actually been using stickers and stationery from the Haugen and Chub Girl advent calendars for the past 3 years now to set up my bullet journal for specifically December. They've been so kind to gift me so many collections and stickers over the years, and I'm so grateful to them. And this video isn't sponsored, by the way. I just genuinely love and use their stickers all the time, and they'll be a focal point of this entire setup. The advent calendar from this year is unfortunately sold out, so you won't be able to get these specific stickers. But if you see anything you like on their website, you can always use my promo code CMCG15 for 15% off your order at hubmanchubgirl.store. I would highly recommend their products. I actually only used a postcard and a couple different sticky notes on this cover page. I kept things really simple. I didn't want to go too crazy with stickers on this spread because I definitely wanted to conserve them for the rest of this setup. My craft paper sticky notes are from Amazon, and the paint swatch that I'm writing December on is from Stationery Pal. And after adding in some sparkles with my pen to a couple corners of this spread, that is my cover page complete, and it's time to head over to my monthly dashboard. When it comes to my dashboard, I started out by penning in these large boxes around the spread, and the craft paper sticky note in the bottom left corner is going to be where my calendar sticker is going to go. I use my corner rounder a lot in this setup, which is also from Amazon. There's a couple different sizes of the corners that this tool allows me to do, and I typically use the 7mm punch, but I ended up using the 4mm punch throughout the setup. It makes the rounded corners a little bit smaller than the 7mm, but I thought it was perfect for these little boxes that I'm using for layering around these spreads. I decided to layer up some stickers around this calendar, and I even used the craft paper and some box stickers from the planner sheet for some headers on these boxes. These are where I'll be putting lists of what I want to read this month, what I want to crochet, and also a general to-do list. And after adding in some finishing touches, that is my dashboard spread complete, and we're moving on to my calendar spread. For my calendar spread, I went with a large grid layout that I penned in with my 03 black fine liner. I mentioned in my supplies section that I'm using Tombow mono drawing pens for this setup, which if you've been following me for a while, I pretty much am very loyal to the Sakura Pigma Micron fine liners and also the Ohuhu fine line pens, but I wanted to switch things up and try these, and they did not disappoint, I'm very happy to say. I think they're really similar to the Sakura Pigma Microns if you're familiar with those. Each box on this calendar is 6 dot grid spaces across and 6 spaces down, which gives me just enough room to write events and bills and other notable things going on this month that I will then transfer over into my weekly spreads as I start to make those. I was racking my brain to try to figure out what I wanted to do for decoration down the right side of this calendar, and I decided to utilize these boxes on the Hobonichi sticker sheet. I put 4 decorative boxes down the side and added some washi tape to the top to make them look like they're kind of photos taped up on a wall or something. I layered some more sticky notes and wrote out my header with the bullet tip end of my Tombow dual brush pen, and I had space down at the bottom of my calendar for that. But at the top, I added in a little reindeer sticker and days of the week from my Hobonichi sticker sheet. And after numbering this calendar, that is my spread complete, and it's time to get into some trackers, starting with my habit tracker. I started out my habit tracker spread with writing out my header at the top, and then I'm using a few of my Tombow dual brush pens with the brush tip side to highlight where my habits will go. I always get questions about these habit grid stickers, and my sister actually made these for me each month of this year. She doesn't sell them, unfortunately, and I hope with all my heart that she will make me more for my bullet journal for next year. I'm finishing up this spread with some holiday mail themed stickers down at the bottom, and with my habit tracker complete, it's time to move on to my gratitude log over on the right. For my gratitude log, I'm starting with lettering my header at the top of the spread, and I'm doing my grid layout that I've done many times in the past, which is originally inspired by Tracy Tyler Revel. Each grid space is 8 dot grid spaces across and 3 down, and I have 31 spaces total for 31 days in December. I added a little sticker of a reindeer holding a postcard in the bottom corner. It's so cute. And that is my gratitude spread complete, so it's time to flip over to the next page for some anxiety related spreads. This is my stress and health log where I have space at the top to write what I'm stressed about each day, whether it's one thing or a couple things. And at the bottom is where I write anything going on health-wise that doesn't really happen on a normal day, like if I'm sick, when I get my period, headaches, stomach aches, all that kind of stuff, it's going to go right here. I just like to have a separate space to write these kind of things when I'm referring to my anxiety tracker, which will be over on the right. When it comes to my anxiety tracker for this month, I really wanted to utilize more stickers, and since there were 4 different animals in this collection, I decided I was going to make my key for the 4 different anxiety levels that I typically track each month. I made a calendar grid with each box being 5 dot grid spaces down and 3 across, which ended up looking like a stretched out December calendar. I wanted to make sure these little stickers would fit in this spread since I've done something similar to this and definitely did not make the boxes big enough in the past. So I learned from my mistakes, and hopefully this December anxiety tracker looks better at the end of the month than in prior years. After adding in my key for the stickers that represent my anxiety levels this month, that is my anxiety tracker complete, and we're heading over to the last spread of this setup, which is my monthly review. My monthly review is a place for me to sum everything up from the month. I'm starting out with my December header and adding in a couple stickers next to it. And below the header, I have my remembering section, which is where I'll write all my highlights from December. And besides that, I'll add in a Polaroid picture of a photo I took this month, which I just print out on my Instax printer from my phone. I've realized I haven't been writing in my highlights or putting a Polaroid in that spot for the past 2 months. So I definitely need to backlog those, and hopefully I can stay on top of it for the last month of the year. At the bottom left, you'll see a section that will be titled Loving, and that is where I'll write everything I loved during this month that aren't already in the categories of watching, reading, or listening over on the right. At the top of the page, you'll see 3 TVs where I'll write a movie I loved, show I watched, and a YouTube channel I've been watching a ton of. In my reading section, I have 3 books where I'll write the titles of each book I finished this month and color in my personal star rating of each book. And then at the bottom right will be a couple things shoved together, which is an area titled Listening, to write a few songs I loved listening to this month, as well as something I crocheted and something that I cooked. And after adding in some finishing touches and coloring everything in, that is my December bullet journal setup complete, and it's time to get into the final flip through. We are now entering the final flip through portion of today's video, and I want to encourage you all to comment down below what your theme is for December, and also a mailbox emoji if you made it to the end. I appreciate you all so much for watching it all the way through. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Also, don't forget to check out my bullet journal social medias. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!